Penguin Random House Audio presents The Puzzle Box, a novel, by Danielle Trussoni, read for you by Edoardo Ballerini. For my son Alexander, born in Japan the year of the Gold Dragon. Puzzle 2. The Dragon Box. Acquired savant syndrome is a rare but real medical condition in which a normal person acquires extraordinary cognitive abilities after a traumatic brain injury. There are fewer than 50 documented cases of acquired savant syndrome in the world. Chapter 1. Ise-Gran Shrine, Japan, February 23, 2024, the year of the Wood Dragon. The Shinto priest runs to the temple, lifting the hem of his robes to keep from tripping. There isn't time to waste. The first light of dawn is falling through the trees, casting long shadows over fresh-fallen snow. Soon his brothers will enter the sanctuary and sit before the shrine in prayer. Soon, the most important day of his life will begin, and with it the sacred duty he spent years preparing to fulfill. The priest shakes the snow from his robe, bows, and steps into the temple. Incense, thick and fragrant, fills the air. Beyond the soji doors, candles flicker at the altar, their light bending over copper vessels and pooling over the tatami, leaving him with an impulse to fall to his knees and pray. It's instinctual, ingrained. Every day for the past 12 years, he's arrived at the temple before sunrise to sit in meditation before the altar. He's never questioned his duty, not why he's there, not what would happen if he failed. None of them did. And yet, over the years he'd gathered fragments of information about the precious object he guarded, whispers of the lore surrounding the Emperor's dragon box. He heard that, during the war, the Emperor hid the box to protect it from American bombs. In the years since, it had moved to shrines across Japan. Ise-Gran Shrine, Atsuta Shrine, the 3 shrines sanctuary at the Imperial Palace, where priests kept watch day and night, guarding it with their lives. He'd heard rumors that the box hid a treasure, perhaps an ancient text, maybe even an artifact belonging to the imperial family itself. He'd heard of its dangers. One look will blind you. One touch will burn your fingers to the bone. He believed the warnings. Some decades before, a young priest had died cleaning the altar, and no doctor could explain why. The truth was not meant for men like the priest. And so he hadn't asked questions. One indiscretion, the slightest capitulation to curiosity, could be disastrous. Bells ring in the distance, calling the priest to prayer. The first ray of sunlight falls through the shrine and spills over the floor, illuminating the altar. The seconds rush past, faster and faster, outpacing him. He must hurry before the others arrive. Now is the moment. Kneeling before the altar, he opens the doors of the tabernacle. And there it is. The dragon box. Large, the size of 2 outstretched hands, the box is made of bands of hardwood expertly cut and joined to create a single block. On its surface, composed of curls of inlaid wood, is the twisting shape of a dragon. The priest sees only the surface. But inside the box, wrapped in layers of deadly traps, lies an ancient enigma, one that has waited thousands of years to be solved. His instructions are clear. He must wrap the box in a square of silk and carry it to Tokyo. He must not touch it. He must not even look at it. He knows this as well as he knows his Narrator. And yet, as he gazes down at the dragon box, his resolve wavers. Could it be true, what they say? One look will blind you. One touch will burn your fingers to the bone. He runs a finger over the surface of the wood, feeling the subtle ridges of the jointing, seeking out an opening, slipping a fingernail into a groove, applying the slightest pressure. The razor cuts quick, the blade hot and bright as fire, and draws blood. Wiping the blood away, the priest wraps the box in silk, ties the ceremonial knot, and tucks it under his arm. Bowing to the altar, to the growing sunlight, to all that he serves, the kami, the emperor, the mountains, the seas, he turns and rushes away. But already, a seed of poison has dropped roots in his bloodstream. Before the sun will set over the shrine, before the priest fully understands the terrible mistake he's made, he will be dead. Chapter 2. New York City, February 22nd, 2024, the year of the Wood Dragon. Mike Brink held his dachshund Conundrum, Connie for short, tight by the leash. It was a freezing Thursday morning in February, and yet Columbus Park was packed with dogs. Dobermans and collies, golden retrievers and labradoodles, pugs and poodles. Connie strained against her leash, desperate to join the other dogs. Brink understood her impulse to run wild, that exuberant momentum that pulled her toward the melee of dogs racing and jumping through the fresh-fallen snow. Bending to her, he unclipped the leash, and she bounded away, leaping and yelling, filled with the ebullient energy of a creature on a scent. Brink took a deep breath, exhaled, and watched the air freeze around him. It felt good to walk through the snow, a cup of hot coffee in hand, a morning paper under his arm. Good to be alive at a moment in time when, despite everything wrong with the world, and he couldn't read the news without finding 1,000 things wrong, he could rely on good coffee, the daily crossword, and a park where his dog could run free. Opening the New York Times, he riffled through the sections until he found the games page. His puzzle was front and center, his byline in bold. His editor, Will Shorts, had asked him to make a moderately challenging number puzzle, and he'd delivered a triangulum. To solve it, one put a number from 1 to 6 into each circle. Identical numbers could not be put on the same gray line. He'd put a few sums in the circles, and the solutions touching each circle had to add up to that sum. His gig as a regular contributor to the games page was only one of Mike Brink's distinctions. He was considered by and large to be one of the most talented puzzle masters in the world. 6 months before, he'd been featured on 60 Minutes. The interview dug into his past and the traumatic brain injury that had transformed him from a teenaged football star to a mathematical genius with a seemingly endless ability to solve impossible puzzles. He was described as having nuclear brain power, and embarrassing memes of explosions ended up all over social media. Since then, he'd stopped giving interviews. Brink found the attention disconcerting. He preferred the private pursuit of making puzzles to being in the public eye. And yet after he'd solved what came to be known as the God Puzzle, a cipher that was the key to a murder in upstate New York, his name was everywhere. His refusal to discuss what happened, not on any of the morning shows, not even with Colbert, his favorite talk show host, only made him more mysterious. He was called an eccentric, a reclusive genius damaged. And if he was honest, that assessment wasn't far from the truth. Damaged. The word resonated with Mike Brink. He'd spent the past decades learning to live with the traumatic brain injury that left him with savant syndrome, a rare medical disorder in which the injured brain, in a frenzy of plasticity, becomes overdeveloped. For Brink, the result was an astonishing gift. He could solve the most difficult, elaborate problems with ease. He saw the world as a series of interlocking patterns. He had a photographic memory, an astonishing facility to learn and retain information, and could untangle the most impossible puzzles without trying. His gift was a superpower, but it was also his biggest obstacle. He struggled to live a normal life and to feel good in his own skin. While there was no outward sign of damage, he was charming, athletic, and popular with his friends and colleagues. Under the surface, Mike Brink was filled with anxiety. The injury had left him with a damaged nervous system, insomnia, and synesthesia, a condition in which his senses mixed, causing a distortion of colors and sounds. Dr. Trevor's a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?